In the previous episode of Summoned to Another World for a Second Time, Yuki and his classmates are unexpectedly transported to another world where they find themselves amidst a fierce war between humans and demons. Yuki, happy to be summoned again and retain his powers, reunites with his former subordinates and discovers that his old friend is the mastermind behind the war. Determined to prevent the situation from escalating further, Yuki embarks on a quest to put an end to the conflict. As Ruri listens in, her grandfather is in the midst of a heated argument with a customer who is interested in purchasing his valuable goods. Her grandfather is reluctant to sell his most prized craftsmanship to someone who doesn't understand its real value. However, the situation quickly changes when the adventurer throws a bag of gold coins onto the table. The grandfather emphatically states that a craftsman's pride is of utmost importance, but concedes that there are exceptions, and this was one of them. Shortly after, Ruri finds herself alone in the world after her grandfather's passing. With determination in her heart, Ruri sets out to fulfill the last job her grandfather left behind. Riding on a caravan through the dark of night, she listens to the eerie sounds of monsters lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, her horse panics and comes to an abrupt stop, refusing to obey her commands. A massive wolf monster charges towards the caravan, causing it to flip over and sending Ruri flying out. Amidst the chaos and danger, Ruri remains focused on her mission and quickly secures her grandfather's brooch, storing it calmly inside her bag. She then suddenly is reminded of the gravity of her situation. She tries to weasel her way out, but the monster doesn't care. Really, he doesn't. Fortunately for Ruri, she is rescued by Yuki, who happened to be nearby. Despite offering him money for his help, Yuki declines, simply glad to be of assistance. Although Ruri is suspicious that there must be some catch to his generosity, Yuki assures her that he expects nothing in return. As he extends a helping hand, Ruri is reminded of the adventurer who had bought out her grandfather's store, but quickly dismisses the thought as a coincidence, as Yuki is much younger. Yuki notes that it isn't safe for a young girl to travel through the dark, but Ruri had no other choice. While he initially wants to go about his business and is about to leave her to deal with the goods lying around, she pleads with him to be her guard. Yuki refuses, but Ruri uses the crying card, pretty much forcing his hand. He agrees to escort her until town, leaving the goods behind. Yuki isn't her porter. What a savage. But it's okay. She has her most precious package with her. As they make their way through the town, Yuki reminisces about his last visit 5 years ago and notices how much the town has grown and become more like a city. Ruri, on the other hand, is preoccupied with finding a ship to take her to the demonic continent, where she must fulfill her grandfather's last job. She hires a ship, but the captain refuses to go to the demonic continent. Ruri is left feeling hopeless and desperate, playing her crying card, which proves ineffective. Despite her attempts to convince other sailors, all the ships are cancelled due to the ongoing war. Yuki, who had been observing her struggle, decides to help, but notices Ruri surrounded by military police, who are conducting inspections. The soldiers demand to see Ruri's merchant identification, and although everything is in order, they belittle her for playing merchant while they put their lives on the line. Ruri brushes off their comments. As the soldiers attempt to check Ruri's bag, she refuses, causing them to become suspicious. Yuki becomes increasingly tense, watching the events unfold. Ruri tries to explain that her bag only contains merchandise, but the bully soldiers, angered by her disobedience, threaten to confiscate it. Yuki steps in just in time, claiming to be her guard. When the soldiers are about to draw their swords, Yuki dares them to try him, but they back down as a crowd begins to gather and observe the confrontation. Ruri is happy to have Yuki with her. Meanwhile, something is lurking in the waters. As a thank you, Ruri treats Yuki to her homemade sandwiches. He praises her for handling the situation with the soldiers so well and not letting them intimidate her. Yuki knew that the soldiers were not authorized to search belongings without a permit, thanks to his friend who strictly follows rules. He wonders about Ruri's plan if she can't find a ship, but she is determined to find one by offering the right price, and if that fails, she will buy a ship herself. Feeling sympathetic towards Ruri, Yuki informs her that he is traveling to the demonic continent and offers to take her with him. Once again wondering how much that will set her back, he tells her not to worry about it. However, when Yuki suggests they start searching for an inn to stay for the night, Ruri suggests splitting the costs. She's unbelievable. At the inn, Ruri pulls out a box containing her late grandfather's most prized possession when Yuki returns from the bath. She entrusts it to him, finally trusting him with this important task. Ruri explains that the box contains her grandfather's last job, which he took on before passing away. He was a famous jeweler and renowned for his exceptional craftsmanship. He used to say that money is important, but pride is much more important. True pride is being able to give up everything to protect what's most important to you. One day, a customer came to request a repair for a brooch her grandfather had made, but he didn't have much time left. He entrusted Ruri with the brooch, instructing her to deliver it to the adventurer no matter what. Yuki recognized the brooch immediately. While Ruri is about to take a bath, Yuki takes the box and promises to keep it safe. Ruri, feeling relieved, asks Yuki not to rob her while she is away. She is grateful that, thanks to Yuki, she will be able to fulfill her promise to her grandfather. Yuki carefully examines the brooch, confirming that it is the same one he had previously cast protection magic on and given to his friend. He hopes that nothing bad has happened to his friend and that he is safe. In the middle of the night, Yuki wakes up to the sound of soldiers barging into the inn. The soldiers accuse Yuki and Ruri of spying for the demons and demand to know their whereabouts. Despite their attempts to remain quiet, Yuki is prepared for them. He quickly comes up with a plan, informing Ruri that they need to leave earlier than planned. He jumps out of the inn with his never-faltering composure. The soldiers search the town, but Yuki is always one step ahead of them. Ruri is becoming a real annoyance at this point. Composure, my ass. Yuki eventually sets up a trap, and they manage to get away from the soldiers. However, their escape leads them to a dead end, leaving them with no way out. As trouble looms and the soldiers are eager to teach them a lesson, Yuki deliberately provokes them further. He swiftly takes hold of Ruri and leaps into the air, leaving the soldiers behind. Remember the mysterious creature lurking in the waters? It turns out to be Yuki's friend Livia, surprising both Ruri and the soldiers. With calm composure, Yuki requests the god of the ocean to take them to the demonic continent, and he obliges. The soldiers are left in utter disbelief and agree to keep quiet about what just happened. Ruri is still confused as to who Yuki really is, but once she sees the demonic continent, it doesn't matter. She's keeping her priorities straight. They've finally reached their destination. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.